Hi, I'm DandDaine, and welcome to Legendary Artifacts of Gaming. Today, things are getting a little weird as we talk about that unsettling chatterbox, the Talking Skull. In a 2018 poll that we made up for this video, 92% of gamers agreed that the skull is the coolest collection of bones in the body. 7%, however, said it was the ribcage, and the last 1% had a great deal of affection for the femur. There's something about the aesthetic of the skull that we're drawn to. To quote the Illustrated Signs and Symbols sourcebook by Adele Nozadar, quote, "The skull is considered the most important bone in the human body, as it was believed to contain the life force of both the body and the spirit. If the skull is ever severed from the body, it results in instant death, hence the power of the skull." Quote, "The skull is typically a symbol of death. It also symbolizes the vanity of worldly things and the transitory nature of time." End quote. As a symbol, the skull carries a lot of weight for us humans, and when the skull starts talking without any lips or lungs to speak of, that tends to make an impression. Talking skulls make appearances in many different video games across various genres. For instance, in Planescape Torment, players meet Mort, a chaotic good talking skull that is somehow able to have his own inventory despite not having any pockets. The Curse of Monkey Island is both a talking demonic skull, Murray, and a severed head of a navigator, which is not exactly a skull, but it does help the player navigate a lava maze, so we counted it. But as stated earlier, skulls are the coolest, which is probably why Murray the demonic skull appears in many Monkey Island games, and the severed head, unfortunately, does not. Though skulls are associated with death, in video games a talking skull is rarely used to create horror. Talking skulls can be comedic, useful, friendly, or even tragic. But a single talking skull rarely creates the same sense of horror as, say, a pile of non-talking skulls. This may have something to do with the fact that the original talking skull story is a tale of tragedy and not fear. The myth of Orpheus and Eurydice is a famous ancient Greek tragedy. Orpheus was the son of the muse Calliope and either Ergris, Apollo, or Morpheus, if you're a fan of 90s horror comics. Calliope was the muse of eloquence and epic poetry, so it's no wonder Orpheus's singing voice was literally the stuff of legend. When Orpheus met the nymph Eurydice, the two fell madly in love. But tragically, on the night of their wedding, Eurydice was bit by a poisonous snake and died. Heartbroken, and with no grief support groups to attend, Orpheus trekked down to the underworld to get Eurydice back. And twist, this has been a Hadestown video all along. Hades, Lord of the Underworld, is the kind of Greek god who actually does his job, and does it well. He wasn't going to let Orpheus break the laws of nature and just take Eurydice back. But not even Hades could resist Orpheus's sweet, sweet jams. After hearing Orpheus sing, Hades agreed to let Eurydice return to the world of the living. However, Orpheus could not look back until they were fully out of the underworld. Orpheus was about 2 steps away from the exit when he became convinced that Hades must have lied to him and turned around. He got just a glimpse of Eurydice before she was drawn back into the darkness. Orpheus was refused entry into the underworld again and spent the rest of his life writing the saddest music ever. In time, the Ciconian Maenads, who were female devotees of Dionysus and had exactly 0 chill, came upon Orpheus, and they literally tore him to pieces. Orpheus's head, still singing, mind you, was thrown into a river and floated to Lesbos. How was his head still singing? Probably because Hades still wouldn't let poor Orpheus back into the underworld. That's rough. Orpheus's singing head was taken to Apollo's temple. Since Apollo was the god of music, the people of Lesbos probably thought Apollo would appreciate that kind of thing. In time, Orpheus's head would also start spouting off prophecies. This makes sense, considering that Apollo is also the god of oracle and prophecy. And that's why in the game Graveyard Keeper, you have to keep going on beer runs for a talking skull named Jerry. Jerry with the G. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Legendary Artifacts of Gaming. Subscribe to the channel for more great gaming videos, and we'll see you at the next level.